These are the best settings you should use in MLB The Show 23. MLB The Show 23 is finally upon us, which means we need to go over some settings. There's some new settings we are going to be using this year compared to last year, and just to help you guys out, to get you guys ready to go and playing at your best for MLB The Show. Now, if you guys are enjoying these tips videos, please make sure to leave a like for me and subscribe. I'll have videos out the entire year for you guys. It seems like you guys have been loving them so far, so make sure you guys are doing that for me. Without further ado, okay, so when you load into MLB The Show 23, if you toggle over to the top right, there will be a little settings icon right here. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, click on our settings. Now, most of this has to do with gameplay. There are a couple other things I want to show you guys as well, of things that I like to use, but I think you guys will also enjoy using. So without further ado, let's get into our gameplay settings. Now, for some reason this year, they made it a little bit more tricky than years past. I have to get my mind around it for some reason, but you have RB and R2 now, and LB and L2 that you can use to toggle through these menus. I think last year was just R1 and L1. But first off, you're going to start off at general. So general will be kind of like difficulty, whatnot, all that. Then you have control, which will be your offense, your defense, your player lock settings right there. Then you have your cameras, which, you know, those are very, very important. You have a display kind of showing what's going to be on the screen for you. And then that's kind of like the full genre of what you're going to be doing. Now, R2 can get you to a lot of different things as well that we're going to go through. They kind of made it a lot more confusing, but hopefully that helps dumb it down for you guys a little bit. So here in our general tab, we have a gameplay style, which I always set to competitive. There's different ones like casual, simulation, competitive. It just depends on what kind of player you are. These will be simulated on the offline for that. Everything online will be competitive, so just keep that in mind. The hitting difficulty and pitching difficulty will matter when you're doing like hitting and or pitching offline. These will change when you go online, just depending on what you are playing. Now, if we are to over to decisions, this is a really, really important one, especially for you offline grinders and or guys that like to do conquest, even mini seasons. Turn on auto fielding. You never have to field a game against a computer. This saves me a ton of time just kind of pitching. Let them do all the fielding for me. A very, very important thing. You can have auto throw for you as well. I don't have them do that just so I can throw in there for you. But auto fielding is an absolute must. And then the last other thing here on the decisions, auto defensive shift, I always turn it off. For whatever reason, I think that it hurts me more than it helps me. This is a total preference thing for you guys, but I always turn off auto defensive shift. So rules, don't really need to do much right here, but when you go to miscellaneous, there will be a CPU pitch delay. Set that to faster. That way they pitch a little bit quicker to you guys. If you have it set to normal, it might take a little bit more time. Set it to faster. That way you can get in and out in those missions and or the CPU grinds you're doing. Okay, that does it for general. Now, control is going to be the biggest one that we're going to be looking at right here. This is going to take a little bit more of our time, but it's always super important. These ones are the ones you guys want to pay attention to because these can help make or break how good you can be in the game. So we're going to start with offense. Base running interface. That's kind of a preference for you. I like to do analog select because then I can choose what runner I'm using and send them to the base corresponding to whatever icon they have on the controller right here. So B would be first base, Y would be second base, X would be third base, A would be home. I like using that a little bit better than the button select. Just don't really like the button select personally. Swing input. We are doing buttons. Do not do analog flick. Do not analog stride. Do buttons. Buttons will help you guys out the best. And hitting interface, 1,000,000% we're going with zone. Zone will help you guys out the most. It might be the toughest, but it's the most rewarding in the end. So please make sure you guys are using the zone interface. If you guys want to use directional, you can if you want to, but I think you guys are really hindering your ability when you can be doing zone. Now, the PCI anchor is totally up to you. I don't personally use it. I don't think it really helps me out, but there are some people that do like that. So if you want to use that, you can. The PCI anchor essentially just has 9 different areas in the zone where you can start your PCI and it kind of locks right there. Again, that's up to you. If you want to use it, you can. I personally don't. Now, this is probably the most important thing in this settings video. The PCI or plate coverage indicator. Turn that bad boy on. If you guys are ever watching anybody and you see something moving on the screen they're hitting, this is exactly what it is. And for me personally, all I use is the bat as my center PCI. This thing is amazing. I've been hitting absolutely incredible with this. These, again, are more of a preference thing for you guys, so make sure you guys are going out through all these just to make sure to see what you guys like. They have the PCI inner, which could be another little bat thing on the inside of it. The PCI outer, you have the color. Color is total preference as well. I use violet. I don't know why, I just do. PCI transparency, I always put it at 100 so that way I can actually see the PCI and what's going on. And then the last thing I want to do right here too is to turn off the vibration. I don't think you need in there. It kind of just causes a little bit of just nothing to be there. I don't know why the vibration's even in there. Switching over to defense, the pitching interface we're going to be looking at will be pinpoint. I like pinpoint the best. I think it makes it the most rewarding in my opinion. I will have a full video out on this. There is pulse, there is pure analog and classic meter, but pinpoint is the one where you see people and they're kind of like drawing the lines and there's like a little circle above the pitcher's head. Pinpoint to me is the best. I hope you guys are able to use that. We'll have a video on that, and I'll have a video on the hitting tips as well. I didn't mention that earlier, but we will have that too. Pitching ball marker, again, is just a personal preference. I like the pitch trail because it shows where the pitch ends up, but it also shows how it's going to like curve in there or how much movement it's going to be. Throwing interface, make sure we are using button accuracy. And then the throw canceling, make sure you have that on as well. That's very important. Just in case you mess up a throw, you can go ahead and cancel a throw. And then the catch position indicator. I love drifting ball because it shows you where the ball is actually going to end up. The track ball, it gives you like a big blue line and it doesn't really indicate exactly where it's going to be. So I love using the drifting ball. Now, another super important thing in your settings is your camera. Camera is how you guys are going to end up seeing the gameplay and how it ends up playing for you through your eyes. I use strike zone and pitching view for all my cameras. I like to see it coming in as a pitcher, but also as I'm hitting, it's still the exact same. So strike zone to me it's really zoomed in. It's pretty much just showing the strike zone of when you're playing the game. I like that. Again, we'll have a little bit more on that in the batting tips and our hitting tips video. The in-play view defense and offense, I also set to high. I like them set up high because you can actually see kind of like where the ball's going and how big of a gap there is. Again, this is a preference thing, up to anybody, but again, I really like seeing the high because it shows the field in a really big view. The only thing we're looking at for display as well, this is the next one, is if you scroll down to our off the wall ribbon, this kind of shows you how the ball is going to bounce off the wall. I would always make sure to have this turned on as well because it really helps you out when you're trying to field. That's kind of only the more important thing left on these settings right here. Now we're gonna switch over to presentation. This one again there's not much going on here. The only thing I would want you guys to probably do is do fast play. So if you're ever playing against a computer like in Conquest, maybe even in Moments, this gets you through them a lot quicker. I think it's set to broadcast. I don't know exactly what the default is, but you definitely want to do fast play for this one. And then finally, we're going to go over to audio and video. This one, again, is a super personal preference, but most people I know do it this way. So you're going to go to a volume preset and set that to custom. Everything is going to be turned off except the sound effects volume. Again, a lot of people like to hear the commentator. Some people like to hear the crowd volume. I personally don't when I'm playing. I think it's a little bit of a distraction for me. PA volume as well, the guy that's inside of the stadium saying things. I think the sound effects volume turned up all the way for you guys is just money. You don't have to worry about anything else. Any other sounds come in. Sometimes that bothers me. I have a little bit of OCD with that, a little bit of ADHD. So I want to make sure that all I'm listening to is the sound effects. And that kind of is the most important thing for me with the audio. And then make sure the last thing you guys do is when you press B or get outside this or exit, and make sure you set apply changes because it won't apply them if you don't do that. And that's it for all of our settings for MLB The Show 23. Comment down below anything you guys also do. These are kind of things that I've done so far, and it's helped me out tremendously. If you guys enjoyed the video again, man, please make sure you guys hit a like for me and subscribe. We're trying to build this thing up. We're trying to get over to 1,000 subscribers on this channel. You guys have been helping out a ton. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.